Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, is it a bourbon?
It's bourbon.
We're drinking bourbon. All right, Ben, another celebrity whiskey. We've had good luck, and by good luck I mean bad luck, with endorsed whiskeys.
For the most part, we have had good luck with this brand, though. This is BAM, Heaven's Door, Homesick Blues. So we have another Heaven's Door product. And when I say another, we haven't reviewed a ton of these recently, but I've had a couple of store picks.
Yep, and they were pretty good.
Yes, so Heaven's Door as a brand, obviously this is a celebrity whiskey in a sense, is Bob Dylan's whiskey brand. This is an interesting brand because you can't really pin it down as far as a flavor profile because they source from so many different places.
Yeah, so it's mostly, it's probably good whiskey, but it's not a single thing because it's not all from the same distillery.
Yep, it's not going to be consistent, so that could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Sure.
So their regular releases, we actually have done a video on the three kind of regular standard ones.
And we think that's a Tennessee source.
Yep.
Typically.
I've loved the store picks.
Okay.
I've had a couple of those. I think they're great. I think this is definitely a brand to explore. This one here happens to be Homesick Blues, and this one is actually 100% Minnesota whiskey, which is interesting.
So water and grains.
Everything
and
Minnesota, aged in Minnesota. This is actually, I think it's a 7-year age stated, 122.7 proof wheated bourbon.
Wow.
And so we haven't reviewed a ton of Minnesota whiskeys. We've had some good luck with some bad luck with some. Just
Minnesota is
like
not really known as the whiskey capital of the world.
Right, and it's an interesting climate to age whiskey in, which brings me to a point that I have to address this before we get into the whiskey because I think it's funny.
Yep.
It says on their website that this bourbon matures amidst the wild temperature swings of scorching highs at 116 degrees Fahrenheit to chilling lows at minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Now, we do have some pretty wild temperature swings in Minnesota.
It's hot and humid in the summers, and so we get up to close to 100, maybe.
We get around 100.
And if you paint your rickhouse black, maybe it's 116 inside.
Maybe. But negative 80, it's never been that cold in Minnesota. I think the all-time low is like 63 below.
Yeah, and wind chill maybe, but
wind chill wouldn't affect a rick house. So anyway, we just thought that was funny being Minnesota folks. But let's get into the whiskey here.
I think Bob's known as a storyteller.
Yeah, there you go. Interesting nose.
Huh. At this point, I'm
definitely getting the wheated vibes.
The wheated, yep, definitely
for
weeder.
Sure.
But I'm not getting, no real vanilla, maybe no real caramel.
I'm not really finding that much either. I'm just really getting almost like a wheat whiskey vibe from this.
But there is like a corn or like the grain note. And I don't think it's youthful. It's just, I'm noticing grain.
That's all I'm getting too is grain. But it's actually kind of in a good way.
Yeah, it smells good. I don't dislike it.
It does smell a little bit on the craft whiskey side. That kind of craft note.
I'm not getting that yet.
Well, let's see if it transfers to the palate here. Cheers. I don't know. I'm kind of getting a little bit more of that craft whiskey. I know it's age stated 7 years, but this is coming across youthful.
Yeah. So my experience is, I think initially my flavor profile I like, but it almost tastes like something artificially flavored. And I don't know how to describe it. Like it's like a flavored whiskey or something. It's not, but it's almost like something trying to become a flavored bourbon. And Like, it's really good. The flavors are all there, but just something about it is a little bit off. But I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either, but there is something that's odd about it. It doesn't, this is definitely not a down the middle bourbon for sure. Let me get one more sip here.
It has mature notes and youthful notes that kind of don't work well together. It has sweetness and bitterness that don't work well together. And when I'm offering up some criticism, like overall, this is a really good whiskey. But
I would say it's good, but it's different. This is not for everybody.
if you're a channel who's doing reviews, you'd be okay with it, and then share it with other people who like bourbon.
Yeah.
First time buyer, this is not representative of what bourbon is.
No, I would not. Again, yeah, this is not a down the middle bourbon. So it's unique. It's getting a little bit better the more I drink it.
Agreed.
I'm starting to get a little bit of those darker kind of tannic wood notes that are, I think, complementing, but I don't know, but also, like you said, kind of fighting against.
The sweetness is almost off-putting. Like, it is so sweet.
See, I'm not getting that quite as much. I'm getting like where there's a sweetness, there's that grainy, youthful note, and then there's the oak note, which usually you don't get a good oak note and a youthful note at the same time.
Exactly.
And they all seem to kind of be fighting each other.
Exactly.
And that's why I think maybe with each sip, it's a little bit different because you maybe pick out one of those.
So I don't know if the age is helping this, and at 4 years it would have been a disaster.
I don't think you could do this any younger than
Right.
it is. There is a little bit of a funk to this.
There's something wet grass, maybe
Yeah.
something happening there.
This isn't horrible. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I really wanted this to be better than it is.
The other store picks that you've recently picked up have been really, really good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I'm a fan of Heaven's Door. I really am. Their single barrels have been great. I will continue to buy those. And I just maybe, this being a Minnesota whiskey, I would say for the most part, our experience with Minnesota whiskeys has not been fantastic.
Well, that's fair, yeah. I mean, Minnesota's not known
Yeah.
as the whiskey capital, so.
And so I was kind of hoping 7-year age stated wheated bourbon at 122 and some change proof.
Sure.
I really kind of thought that maybe that was going to bring this home.
$75, $80?
It retails around 80. I got this for 68 at Sam's Club, so I got a little bit of a deal on it. That's why I wanted to buy it.
Yep.
Comes in a cool box, and it comes with like a copy of like some hotel stationery with handwritten Bob Dylan lyrics on it, which is kind of cool. If you're,
That's kind of cool if you're a fan.
Yeah, if you're a fan, for sure.
If you're playing at home.
But as far as the bourbon goes, I don't know.
It does have a bitterness, a lasting bitterness, and maybe that was where Bob wanted to go with it. Back to the storytelling.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with this one. Because I'm not getting like the standard caramels, vanillas, brown sugars.
Totally agree.
I'm really just getting grain.
So here's what I recommend. I think you need to figure out how to use this bottle. Maybe a touch of, it's got enough proof that you could add just a slight amount of water to ice cube to see if that would help it. Rumor is that helps on some whiskeys. I don't normally do that.
Yeah.
Or some simple syrup. Although it's super sweet already. Like, I don't know. I think this is an experiment bottle to figure out how to
Yeah.
do something with it.
When you say that it's super sweet, it is super sweet in a weird way because it doesn't taste like anything sweet.
Agreed.
Like,
Yeah, you're
it's
not getting
sweet,
the
but
caramel
there's no taste of
Exactly. That's a good way to describe it.
So it's just a very, very odd bourbon. And I would say, as much as I really, like I said, wanted this to be a great bottle, I don't think it's worth the $80 price point. It just isn't. And I love Heaven's Door as a brand, like I said. I would totally recommend checking out Single Barrels and Store Picks. Every one of those has had my stamp of approval.
Yeah.
I know some people shy away from them because they think some of them are sourced from Dickel, and some of them might be. But you and I are not quite as much George Dickel haters as the rest of the world.
We did a flight, and there were some good ones and some mediocre ones.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. I guess if you're a Bob Dylan fan, this is a cool one to have on the shelf.
You gotta have it,
But then again, any of the Heaven's Door, and the single barrels tend to run closer to that $60 range.
Okay.
So I would recommend those over this, for sure.
Fair enough.
All right, well, this has been Heaven's Door Homesick Blues on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Till next time. See you next time.